overthinking everything now that I got over 200 views on my last video. What the heck? Overthinking more than usual. I would like to start this video by issuing another apology for clickbaiting. But it worked. My cheap trick worked. As much as I would like to keep my integrity, clickbaiting worked. Is it because everybody thinks I'm Scarlett Johansson in the thumbnail? God, it's so annoying. Ugh. No, I'm kidding. Keep those comments coming. Episode 3 of Weekly Rot Report. I have my list here. It is very short because I talked so much about last week in the last video. But I decided it doesn't count. Because it was a cheap trick, you know? It's my punishment. So the first thing on my list is I wish I smoked. I talked about this book. I've been going through it. Daily Rituals. And it's all about creatives and their daily routines. And they all smoke. They all take smoke breaks. And I want to take a smoke break. I want to think. I want to be pensive and have a cup of coffee and a cigarette. But I can't because everything is bad for me. Even coffee. I can't have a cup of coffee in the big time because it's too much acid for my GERD. So I can't even have a cup of coffee. I also would rather spend my money on used books and CDs. So the closest thing I can think of that I can get to having a smoke break is taking a shower. I love to think in the shower. But you can only do that like once a day. Can't smoke a pack of showers in a day. I would love to take a smoke break. I would love to excuse myself at the family function to smoke a cigarette. I have to make small talk with your uncle while you go take a smoke break. I have to be afraid of cancer and dying. So I have to talk to Uncle Rod. There's this Tesseract concert. I hope I can find the clip. But Daniel Tompkins, the singer, he is trying to rile up the crowd. And I don't think it goes the way he was hoping. He goes, does it feel good to be alive or not? Would you rather be dead?
Does it feel good to be alive today or not? Would you rather be dead?
And I think about that like once every 3 weeks. But if I had to guess, it's a resurrection. It's a resurrection fest.
Resurrection fest.
Concert. Oh my god. Do you know what I watched Oh my god. I watched Queens of the Stone Age on kexp yesterday. It kept popping up on my feed. And I was like, I gotta wait for Kevin. Gotta wait for Kevin to watch it, because he's really a bigger Queens of the Stone Age fan than I am. But I hated it. In short, I hated it. They're doing like these weird versions of the songs with an orchestra, and Josh Homme is wearing a dangling earring like Barry Bonds, and he's waving around a cleaver for some reason, and he's just hamming it up.
Taste.
And I hated it. It was like, the orchestra was great. It was like Queens of the Stone Age ruining an orchestra for 20 minutes. And it got to the interview at the end, and I was like, we're not listening to this. It was too artsy-fartsy for me. I talked about watching Peter Hujar's Day in the last video and reading Shame by Annie Ernaux. I'm pretty artsy-fartsy. This was my limit. I was like, this isn't music. I got my cut-off Gojira shirt on. If I showed my dad Gojira, he would say, this isn't music. To me, Queens of the Stone Age on kexp is not music. I hated it. And now my algorithm is full of bands I've never heard of doing kexp. And it's never worth a click. You think maybe I'll random click, I'll check it out. Very rarely is any band on kexp ever worth a click. Not even a band that I like. Because I do. I like Queens. Do I like their last couple albums? No. But I like Queens. Do you know what's actually taken over my algorithm? Silent Hill stuff. I found this guy called Silent Haven, and he does these recreations of songs and how they would sound if they were on the Silent Hill soundtrack. There's he's oh, they're so good. I love his song choices. He does a couple Opeth Damnation songs. He does a couple Metallica. His Metallica Until It Sleeps is so that might be my favorite one. But he does Portishead. It Would Be Sweet. Because all the songs do, they get like a trip hop kind of a feel to them. He does, just talked about getting a copy of this. He does Catatonia, My Twin. He does Duvet by Boa, the Serial Experiments Lane theme song. I got this video recommended to me that was the Serial Experiments Lane theme song and comparing it to a remake of the Serial Experiments Lane theme song, but with Tony Soprano. So funny. But now Kevin and I are on the Silent Hill deep dive. It started with the music, but now we're just like on the Silent Hill deep dive. So he has the PlayStation Plus subscription, and we're like, maybe they have the Silent Hill games. Like, we were hoping for like the original ones. But we found the Silent Hill 2 remake on it. And we're like, well, let's check it out. We pay for this stuff anyway. Let's check it out. The whole beginning is this like wild goose chase to find the missing pieces of a jukebox, and the whole town is all closed off with white tarps. It's like just rip a hole in the tarp and just go through, you know? But you can't, you know? You can smash a bunch of windows. You can smash every window with your club, but you can't go through every window. You can't go through the window unless an X pops up. You have to go to the back door and get the code for the keypad. But some windows you can crawl through if an X pops up. And you can't progress until you fix the jukebox, and you have to find the second half of the broken record. And you find the second half of the broken record, and you're like, how the hell am I going to put this together? With vinyl glue, of course. How convenient and specific to find vinyl glue to fix the record. And then you put the record in. You find out that the jukebox is missing a button. And you're like, God damn it, let me just trigger the freaking flashback. Let me just play the record so I can trigger the flashback. So you hit the streets again, and you find a dirty bathroom. You have to take dirty bathroom to get the button, which is still somehow easier and less convoluted to get to the song that you want to play than it is on Spotify now. But the whole time, Kevin and I are like, where's the music? Turns out that there's only like 2 of the original songs in the remake. But now Kevin and I are invested in the story, but neither one of us want to play it. Neither one of us want to play the game, but we're invested in the story. So now I'm watching Vinesauce do a playthrough, and he spends half the time trying to get the settings right, and his chat is up his ass to fix the motion blur. And I'm like, if anything, fix the brightness and the contrast. I can't see shit. Now, my algorithm is half Girl World, half grind culture, and half Silent Hill. And like how to make music like Silent Hill. And suddenly I'm looking up how much it costs to buy Ableton. As if I'm going to do that, you know? As if I'm actually going to learn how to sample and screw and chop. I'm not going to do that. But I shouldn't talk like that. I have to keep listening to Psycho-Cybernetics. It's the same as The Secret. It's the same as, you know, the Manifestation girlies, but for grindcore. Grindcore, like the guys in Napalm Death love Psycho-Cybernetics. It's Manifestation repackaged for guys who listen to Joe Rogan. You have to already imagine yourself as someone who knows how to screw and chop on Ableton before you can become someone who screws and chops on Ableton. The problem is that I can't picture myself as being someone who finishes this audiobook in the first place. It sounds like getting cornered by an old man at a party. He's like, "Have you ever heard of Psycho-Cybernetics? Have I ever told you about how I won a taekwondo tournament in Beijing?" And you're like, "Shit, I wish I could take a smoke break. I wish I could take a smoke break right now." Or like when you make a joke and someone uses it as an opportunity to teach you a lesson. I was joking when I said I was going to start taking Adderall and learn how to screw and chop on Ableton. It was a joke. And he's like, "You don't need Adderall, you just need Psycho-Cybernetics." And you're like, I just told you that I won't even smoke a cigarette. Do you think I'm going to seek out unprescribed amphetamines to learn how to make Silent Hill music? I'm afraid to tell the guy at the deli that I want half a pound of honey maple turkey. You know what I mean? Joe Rogan fans would do both Adderall and Psycho-Cybernetics. And the carnivore diet. A while ago, my brother was telling me about this book that he read called BLITZED. And it's all about how the German army, they were all hopped up on drugs. And that's why they were so ruthless. And while I was on my quest to try and make my algorithm a little bit more sophisticated, I subscribed to this History Channel type of channel. Because if you don't learn from History Channel, you're doomed to repeat History Channel. But I think I've already unsubscribed because they were always live. They were always live, and it pissed me off to see it at the top of my feed all the time. But I saw this video pop up, and I was like, "Hey, I kind of know about this." And it's all about the German army being hopped up on this stuff called Pervitin, which was over-the-counter methamphetamine. Did you know that Adderall and meth have the same surname? They're cousins. I swear I was kidding when I said I was going to take Adderall and learn how to chew and scrap. But I did look it up. Adderall just took his dad's last name. Meth took his mom and his dad's last name. Anyway, back in World War II times, there were no drug trials. Production to store shelves was like a year to have OTC meth. And Hitler's army was doing these tests to see how it would improve the performance of the soldiers. And he had them up for like 4 days doing math problems. There was a group who was doing nothing. The group that was doing caffeine and a group that was doing Pervitin. Of course the Pervitin group, the group that was all perved up, won. And then Hitler's army was all on meth. And they came out with Pervitin chocolate. And in one square of Pervitin chocolate was 10 servings of tablets. And German housewives were having tea parties, and they were all getting their perv on these chocolates. And they showed this real note that a German soldier wrote to home. And it just says, Pervitin! And the German army were all emaciated. They lost their appetites. They didn't care for anything except for Pervitin. Like where was this in 8th grade history class? Anyway, if you didn't unsub to me for clickbaiting and you didn't unsub to me for this, I would like to thank you. I'll see you next time.